Welcome to Grey Mason Gaming plays Solaris, a 32-player Darri Galaxy of Darri. This is episode 3, where really we're going to be focused on the topic of large alliances. We're picking up when my 9-player alliance is in overall pretty good shape. We haven't sealed the game yet, but if we stick together, we are feeling very confident. At this point, I've pretty much defeated the South with the help of Waven. Support from JSE, a little bit of support from Musician, and 25 ships from Mar. In the West, we've identified the enemies of Imperio, Necria, NNK, and Bumblebee, with Necria being a seasoned player who is a very strong diplomatic player and doing their damnedest to try to break us apart. In the North, or Northeast, our opponents are Ronin, Sweeper, Simp, Jakar, Limiting Factor, and Macarena. Now, we're going to not really focus on the South. We're going to focus on the West as the next major front, and then the North. But when we talk about large alliances, I'll say at this point in the game, there was some, I'll call it outcry in Discord, where some of the players were proposing rule changes, game changes to the settings to discourage larger alliances. And I get it, right? Being on the receiving end of a 9-player alliance, you feel completely helpless and unable to do anything. But I will argue that to win a game of Solaris or Neptune's Pride, you've got to be the biggest player in the biggest alliance. Or you've got to be the biggest player in the winning alliance. And that's just the facts. You could have an alliance of 3 players or 4 players and work with other similarly sized alliances to beat other similarly sized alliances and be positioned best to go ahead and have the most stars at the end of that. That's really not that different, except for the fact here that we just agree to have a tech sharing and non-aggression pack. But the bigger the group, the more unstable it is, and the harder it is to hold it together. And I would argue that this has not been an easy alliance to hold together. You have to worry about backstabs within your alliance, where you're completely vulnerable. And I was very concerned about Waven because they were absolutely positioned to stab me. Most other players weren't as well positioned to do so. You also have to worry about how when you sacrifice yourself, how that gets used by the rest of your alliance. So it is hard to win a game where 32 other players or 31 other players are trying to also win. Just being in the biggest alliance doesn't mean you're going to win. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even mean your alliance is going to win. There's a lot of factors that come into play. So I'm not even going to focus right now on the South anymore. We're going to start in the West, and we're going to shift to the North. We're picking up in tick 164, but you can see I'm recording this at tick 283. So there's been a lot of time since when I've last recorded. And so I do have a little bit of wisdom on what's going to happen. But my take here was, let me help my team grow. They held back everyone else. I was a little in a cocoon. Let me pay back. So I'll get a couple of places just to lock down, but for the most part, Maps, Waven, Krubed, Scamp, you guys beat them back. And so as we start to go through this, we'll start clicking through and I'll show you at this level things will start changing colors and you'll start to see us making progress. Now, there was a lot of discussion and Necra tried very hard and did a great job trying to get my lines to flip. At one point, Waven, I believe, was on the cusp of agreeing to do so. He reached out to a bad musician who then told me, hey, this is what I heard. And I will put on the screen what I went to Waven with, and I'll be honest, I very much respected his response, which was, yes, it was me. Yes, I thought about it. And honestly, I can't blame him. He should. You should always be thinking of how can I win? What will that do this game, and what will that do to me in the future? And so the fact that Waven contemplated it, even started to get some ships on the border to prepare for it. I can't entirely fault him for that. And the fact that he came and fessed up and said, you know what, but I will not, made me respect him as a player that much more. I am sure there were many other conversations, but that's one that I did in fact hear about. So you can see here now we're at almost tick 200. We'll get to tick 200. We are in a very good shape over here. We've pushed them all back. NNK is dead. Bumblebee is about dead. Necra is weak. Imperial is weak. Maps has grown. Waven has grown. And they continue to push back. Now, at this point, there's not a whole lot of interest. Let me just tell you what happens. We win. We push it all back. And our team grows. But this is the time where I think the large alliances comes into play. Now, I was fortunate enough to be very centrally located that I could shift my resources around. And while they were pushing over here, I was assisting. I was suiciding my ships into the enemy, softening them up so my team could grow. I did get like full, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 5, I got 4 stars. I think I ended up getting like 8 total. But, you know, Waven got 30. Maps got 20. Crew gets 20. Like, they all grew considerably, which is what I said. My goal was I want to win, and I want every member of my alliance to be above every enemy player. And I'm not going to do the request to quit until our entire alliance is at the top of the charts. Mission accomplished, right? By the way, it will be. But it's not that easy, because then what? And that's exactly where we're at now. And so now I need to draw your attention to the conflict between a bad musician and Mar. They've been battling Ronin now. They're about to begin the fight. And I need to go back a couple of ticks to show you this. Okay. Let's do a little thing where I show you. We'll just mark this for our own memory. Mar, tick 199, is at 42 stars. Oops. Yeah. We'll do the bad musician at 199, 33 stars. And just for, you know, prosperity, tick 199, I was at 126 stars. We'll come back to that. But this is the problem, where Mar is a first-time player and doesn't totally understand all the politics, and I get it, it's hard. But what you're going to see here is the beginning of a very large problem. At this tick, very well communicated, we have a destroyer that's at 50% move speed launch. And shortly thereafter, this happens. Now, this was not an accident. This was absolutely planned. And this was admitted to after the fact. So while these 3,000 ships are going, Mark decides to send in a coward to grab it before they arrive. And then, oh wait, did that get defended? It did. Ah, okay. Yeah. So he sent this in, right? Losing 1,200 ships. It got reinforced. So at this point, he's very well aware of what's happening here, right? You've got 5,000 ships coming to claim that star. Now, Julie should have... Oh, she did. Yeah, it's warp gated. Yeah. Nothing more could have been done. Very clearly known what's going on. And I think Mar at this point made a deal. We're at tick 209. Sends 490 ships. They're going to get there in 2 hours. An hour before a bad musician arrives. And let's see what Ronan does to help create discord amongst the team. He leaves his ships and abandons the star and allows the star to be claimed by Mar. If you're a bad musician right now, how do you feel? Do you feel like Mar's on your team? I'll tell you, she does not. You'll also notice other stars all got abandoned, of which all of them went to Mar. You know what? Let's go back for a second. Let's go back here. There's one more little person we should be taking a look at. Ronan. Ronan's at 16 stars. Okay. So there was a deal cut, and it didn't go over well. Now I'll tell you, I had issues with Mar at the beginning of the game as well, and the way that I worked past it was I just didn't attack in the same direction as them. And so you'll see that Ronan clearly is helping now Mar get stars ahead of all others. I lost some of my vision, which is unfortunate. Alright, we're moving back ahead. But this is where it really starts to go downhill for the team as a team. You'll see gifted ships, a gifted siege breaker, and a gifted saboteur ships going to Mar. I don't know what deal he cut, but with a time machine you can certainly go back and see that a deal was cut. Okay, now look at this. Taking all the things. Now, Mar contributed to the removal of Ronan, but he was one of 3 players. Freda contributed, bad musician, Mar, and I would argue even myself holding them back on this side, this flank. But Mar takes all the stars. A bad musician screamed bloody murder in Discord, saying and then was told that they were being unreasonable, and honestly, it's completely unreasonable what Mar did. If you were in an alliance, do not try to just steal all the ships or all the stars before your alliance can get there. And I know there's a time and a place for that. You can still see stars being given up. But this was a joint combined effort, and okay, just right there, I think it was back 2 ticks. There were some stars that were given to a bad musician. Yeah, okay, there's 1. But again, that's not enough. And again, I'll tell you, greedily, I saw this happening. I'm like, I have a problem because I feel like I should win. And I don't like seeing this person just zipping around taking all the easy stars. Because what am I doing? I'm fending off with my 6,000 ships this star that's got about 10,000 ships. And I can't push and take all these other stars because you can see I do a little bit, but they just come and claim them back. I'm just softening them up. But then Mar comes in, ignores the big enemy, and just tries to take all the ships. If we look back at this point, you can see it's almost cleaned up over here. Not quite, so 238, but it's getting really close. So we're really focused up here. And it was at this point that Bad Musician and I were talking with JSE about how do we rein in Mar to be a team player. Mar's response was, you're being completely unreasonable. I got there first, therefore it's mine. But the only reason you got there first is because we sat there and let you build up. Did I show you this? While we were fighting for our lives in the south, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think he had 12, but 8 or 9 world builders taking tokens from our team that was fighting on the front line so he could build his world builders. We talked to him about it, and he's like, no, it's just it's funny. And we're gonna win now, so all right, it kind of doesn't matter, but it does, because then those resources are fueling his growth in the east ahead of us. And the fact that you'll see it here as well, starts to really zip around the map. So we're 250, so we're still 30 hours ago. And this is really where it starts to pick up. Okay, so we start to get some vision. And we're start to really make our final push into this northeast corner. We claim that star. We're about to claim that star. And I'll be honest, I wasn't as attentive as I should have been. I wasn't able to get all my ships into position. In part, I was defending against a potential stab from Waven, but more so, I should have been more proactive. We did, by the way, get to this wormhole, so this is totally cleared, right? The west has been won. We see Necra, which, by the way, had probably like 20,000 ships on it. It's a ridiculous amount of ships on it. So we're 262. You can see we lose the wormhole, we gain the wormhole. There's some resistance. You can see Macarena went ahead and went AFK. I get through this wormhole now, and look at what Mars already done. Now, you can't blame him for doing some work, but he's continuing to avoid all the big clumps so he can get all the stars. And I get it, but not a way to make a friend. Also, by the way, at this point, he has vision on here. He knows how many ships are there. Does not bother to tell us, hey, this is how many ships are on that place that you're trying to attack. Instead, continues to push and take as many stars as he can. And it's things like, again, like I showed you before, where I'm heading to a star, and here I had to do the same thing to him. Like, all right, fine, if that's how we're playing, I'll do that. But he's just so, because he pushed through first, and again, if we were early in the game, I would say absolutely. But the enemy's defeated. At this point, it's like, okay, let's end it up. And so I can see the value a little bit of the request to quit. But isn't this more interesting? Finally break through. What is that? 4 hours ago. And now, at this point, I see all the stars. I can see every star in the game. And this is where we're at. Where we're at right now, I am up 19 stars on Mar. But Mar is going to get, of the Jakar stars, there's 12 left, he's going to get 10. Of the Necria stars, he's going to get one of them. I think he's going to get this one here. Yeah, he's going to get one. One or two. Of the limiting factor, I think he's going to get like 11 of the 12. I think I'm going to get this one. He's going to get all the other ones. He can get Ronin. He can get Sweeper. That puts him at 176 and me at 170. That puts him in first place. And the way that he did it was to push aside your alliance, to let them fight the big fights. And I don't like that because that puts me out of first. So my proposal in the Discord chat was, well, I think we should just agree on the rankings and people should seed stars to allow that. I've also talked to people. A Bad Musician and Freda are a couple. They're a duo. Maps and Waven are a duo. Both of those four said if we were to have a civil war, they would side with me. Krug said they would side with Mar. I think Scampade would be with me. JSC said he will defend whoever gets attacked. And I don't really want to go against him, but I will if I have to. Because my issue here is, if I let it play out, I don't think Waven can get to the 212. I think he can get to 176. But then if we say then we should request to quit then, I don't think it's good. And let me show you what Mar sent. Mar sent me this message in his perspective, and I think he summarizes it really well. And so let's go through that. So this is on tick 278, so not that long ago. I said, hey, if we request, he says, if we request to quit, the 212's out of reach without betrayal. I said, yeah. He says, honestly, Mar's position doesn't fully sit right with me. It seems to me that they were fighting their own private wars against individual opponents for most of the game, bagging our tokens and tech without real risk to himself. He still had a non-aggression pack up to the very recently, and now explodes and takes the lion's share of stars from a dying alliance he barely fought against. He fights Julia over, 6 stars, and then turns out he got 90? I've not been exactly a saint in this alliance, but it doesn't seem fair that Maps and Krubed, who flew the flag and fought the fight for so damn long, to finish underneath him. But that's my opinion. And I couldn't agree more, and I think that, to me, Waven said it perfectly. What he did up here was valuable to the alliance, but absolutely not more valuable than what these guys over here did, and for him to finish above them seems like an injustice. Oh, let's bring this back up. Let's bring this back up. So now at tick 283, we went from 42 to 137. Bad Musician, in that same time frame, went from 33 to 40. 7 stars. And I, in this time frame, went from 126 to 156. So I went up 30. Bad Musician went up 7. And he went up, almost 100, right? 90, 95. And would you say that he did that percentage of the work to do it? No, he was in position. So that is the bone of contention. That is where we're at right now. That is why large alliances are still hard, because you got to win, and then you still got to deal with nonsense. I see the entire map. I can do the math. Right now, if we just finish clearing up the enemy, Mar will win. He'll beat me by 6 stars. Unless some of our alliance gives me enough to push me across the top, unless we fight, or he gives up stars. So the game's not over. But I just want people to say large alliances are just bad, to look at this and use this as a weapon when fighting a large alliance. Because I think Necro did his damnedest to try to get us apart, to tear us apart, but certainly there is contention between our alliance. Maps and Waven are not happy. Musician and Fred are not happy. I'm not happy. Scampade's not necessarily happy. So we're not one happy camper. We just used each other to grow. So let's see how this game ends. Cycle 15. Let's see how it goes. Well, the situation that I posed in Discord was we could go one of 3 ways. We can just race to the end. And when I did the math, because I see all but 3 stars at this point, and I see the position that Mar's in, he's going to get the lion's share, and he's going to be between 1 and 5 stars ahead of me. So if we just let it naturally play out, because he outplayed me and just went and grabbed stars, avoided the ships. My fear is if I avoided the big clumps of units, they would just come and because I'm defending my base. So he kind of was able to be behind me, jump past me, get in position, and then just take the stars. And so I wasn't a fan of that, because I felt like him growing so fast was not it's not like how you want to play as a team player. Plus I would lose. Alternatively, we could start a civil war and we could just attack each other, and I didn't really want to do that. And I'm like, well, maybe we just kind of open it up to a discussion and agree. And well, as you can imagine, like that didn't happen, because we have 3 contenders for the first place. You have me, Mar, and Waven. Waven hasn't given up hope yet, and we'll see what happens. So we're going to go ahead and move forward here, and we will be looking here for. So we finally got Mar to give up some of the land that that was promised to a bad musician, but it just wasn't enough, and he was just being irritating and discordant. So a bad musician, I said, you know what, we're gonna go, and okay, there you can see how it just kind of finished out a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and take matters into our own hands. So you can see here, we launch, and when I launched, I had already spoken with everybody. And Scampade said, hey, I'm with you to the end. Krubed said, I'm with Mar. A bad musician said, I'm with you. Frida says, I'm with bad musician. Waven says, I'm with Maps. Matt says, I'm with Waven. Waven says, yes, let's get Mar. I showed you the information. However, what happens next, I should have predicted. I kind of see it coming. And basically, I'm like, okay, why do we have all these ships here? Why do you, Waven, have 2,600 ships right here? And he didn't flag Mar. And so I did notice this, and I'm going to end up sending reinforcements up there. But basically, as you can imagine, Waven saw this as an opportunity to potentially win. He's like, if I join Gray, Gray wins, I get second place. I secure second place. But I want a shot to win. And let me show you the conversation that took place. In the middle of the night, he flagged. So 2:49 a.m. I had set my alarm because I saw that coming. I have, you can see I basically, I got up there and I launched on him. He says, I told him, I'm not going to let you win. I'm still bigger than you, and we'll focus on defending and attacking you. I get the push to win, I really do, but you're only guaranteeing we both don't win. Do you really want to gift Mar the win? He's played terrible in terms of being good for the Alliance. You and I have carried the team. So let's get first and second, be happy. I'll forgive you and finish a game with you. Don't throw the game to Mar now, please. I'm actually asking super nice. I'm begging you. He is not worthy. But you know, I can't let you kill me. So we blow each other up. He says, I don't want to let you win either. I don't want to let him win either. That'd really put a stop to my ambitions. But right now, you are also in my way. If you decide I'm more important of a target, that's up to you. I won't be cowed by gunboat diplomacy into flipping. You're strong enough to play Kingmaker, but not strong enough to take first place against these odds. It's up to you whether Mar takes it or not. You're asking me to choose you over him. I'm asking you to choose me over him. You won't, because your top priority is Grey Mason win, and I respect that. I know you have to be beaten beyond hope of a comeback for you to give that up and support someone else. So that's what I'll aim to do. Now, he's not wrong in some regards, but he's also not completely right, because here's the logic. The logic is, I'm going to beat you down to the point where you realize you can't win, and you're going to have to pick who I'm going to win. And I've said publicly, I'm not a fan of what Mar did. He was not a team player. I'm not a fan of you stabbing me even more. And so I will gladly, every day, 10 out of 10 times, give Mar the win over a backstabber. I don't know why that seems... I don't know where you would get confused into thinking I would do anything else. Also, by the way, we're completely intertwined. So me being able to deal with Mar, I have like this tiny front. This stuff up here is kind of whatever, right? Like this is whatever. This is my power base, and this is your power base, and so we're going to blow each other up. On top of that, Waven, at this point in the game, I'm 14,000 ships up on you. I'm 700 more industry up on you. I'm producing 900 more ships an hour than you. On top of that, I talked to Crubed, I talked to Maps. Maps actually is like, hey, I didn't want to do this, but I'm supporting Waven. So Maps sides with me. He says, well, if you can win, I'll let you take my stars. I'm like, I'm not close enough to win. And so we basically become neutral with each other, re-ally. So I don't have to fight Maps. I'm going to be fighting Waven and Crubed, essentially, and a little bit of Mar. But basically, a bad musician afraid I have to deal with Mar. They have to deal with Dar. Then there's JSE. Let us not forget him, who was one of my first that 4-man alliance, right, with 4-player alliance with Bad Musicians, Campaign, myself, and JSE. But he didn't like the way when Crubed attacked me and launched on 3 places, I said, if you attack me, I will retaliate. And I launched on 12 of their stars. And he said, that's not cool. So JSE does JSE things. It's a little disappointing that he has his set of rules that make him not just be able to say objectively, here's what I think's right. But I'm not going to mess with him, but he's not helping me whatsoever at this point, which is unfortunate, because if he did, it would make my life a lot easier, right? Like my day one ally, my pre-game ally is basically siding with Crubed, who attacked me, siding with Mar, who was trying to steal the game from our alliance, who did flip first. But anyway, enough on that. I think anyone who's played with JSE knows the frustrations that could come from the way his diplomacy comes into action. And so I'll go ahead and forward it down, and you'll see things change on the map. One of the biggest things, actually, I want to showcase is this. So let's take a look at just the absolute devastation. So we let Mar build up this minefield of world builders while we were playing the game. He was playing SimCity. And we shouldn't have let him build this up, because now it's almost impossible to take. And let me show you what I mean. So we have 8,000 ships on the border. And she launches. Here comes 4,000. Here comes 8,300 ships against, well, there's going to get about 2,000. Tell me what world 8,000 ships should lose. And so basically she staggered it because she knew the game that he would play, but then he staggered his counter as well. So the game that's played is Mar will go ahead and defend 4,000 ships with 1,000 ships by using the wormhole and a siege breaker, because now he's on the offensive, and so she's going to get -4 for the world builder, and he gets +3. It's a 7 weapon swing, and so these 1,000 ships beats these 4,000 ships. Does that seem fair? That seems absolutely ridiculous. She sent the other 4,000, and he sent the other 1,100. And the next tick, 2,000 ships beat 8,000 ships. That hurts. That hurts a lot. So anyway, moving on. We are going to be showing you where we at now. Let's just do this real quick. We're on tick 303. A lot of fighting going on, and I've lost 5 stars in my original starting point. I've lost some stars along this front here, and it's just a devastating, 500 ships, 500 ships, 500 ships, 1,500 ships with the general, 500. He had built up, right, while I was off doing other things. I had some reserve down here. I also sent like 1,000 ships into here, into the unknown, and just lost it. That was disappointing. So I needed to do a better job of keeping track. I needed to do a better job of keeping more ships at home. I had a few little pockets where I had like this 1,300 built up in this nebula. I hope I can take this. I was pretty sure that he'd been ferrying those away. But if I can get this line back here and clear these guys out, even if I lose some ships up here, with maps not attacking me, and I've done some good damage on Krubd in the heart here, in their the heart of their territory. Yeah, you can see I lost this as well. I should claim it back. Now I have 900 ships coming for, so I'm going to get these areas back. I've got 1,000 ships coming up here. I'm going to be defending most of this, but it's going to be a battle now to reclaim this here, to reclaim this. All the while, I don't think a bad musician now is going to be making enough progress, because we can't attack the wormholes. And so she's got to attack basically up here instead. And I have a little bit of a buffer for her up here, but once this falls, all these ships are going to start hitting her as well. So yeah, I've lost most of my stars over in this part of the map now as well. And it's unfortunate that I was like definitely first or second, and now I very well could be bumped down much further. But it's a long game, and Waven and Mar both are playing to win it, which I can totally appreciate. I should have played smarter. I should have built more. I should have left more in reserves. And I'm being beaten tactically on some of these battles. I'm really low on tokens. It's basically the three of us, and Mar has all these vassals giving him tokens, and with a fixed weapon, the tokens make all the difference. Like, they're able to get the specialist and spin it in their favor. So even though right now I'm showing myself still 5,000 above Mar, and I'm still 7,000 above Waven, which really, this Waven's my main guy. I need to beat Waven back. I'm producing, what is that, 700 more ships an hour than him. So I feel like I will beat him back, especially if Maps stays neutral with me and I can keep Krubd at bay, because both of them kind of came at me all at once, but they don't have enough to backfill. So I'll reclaim my stars, and hopefully I can get Waven beaten back enough that their ambitions of first goes away and I can get them to help me with Mar. That's the plan for now. It's only been 4 hours, but the game has shifted yet again in a completely unpredictable way. Where we left off, right, is I'm just fighting for my life. I'm losing star after star. And we'll go a couple of ticks in, and you'll see I do start to get some of these stars back. But one thing that was obvious is that I needed to make friends. I needed to stop fighting everybody. And so about here I said, Krubd, can we ceasefire? Can we just stop fighting? Let me just get a couple of these stars back that are in the heart of my place, and we'll call it even. And that way I can just focus on Waven. There was some debate over just do it immediately, but JSE jumped in. He's like, yes, stop fighting now, and everyone, we can just request to quit and be done with this game. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. There's no way I'm winning at this point. I hate having Mar rewarded, but fine. So JSE had to do some Herculean diplomacy to get everyone to agree. Waven really pushed back. I don't totally know why, but agreed. Everyone agreed but Mar. Everyone clicked request to quit but Mar. And so I wonder if this will update here. It should, right? It should update when yeah, so let's just go ahead a little bit further into this, and Okay, yeah, so you see these things changing. So right here, so this was 2 hours ago. Mar was winning. He has about 170 stars, we think. And we're like, you know what? It's fine. You got us. We concede. I'm like, I'll get second or third. I think second. Fine. Waven was like, begrudgingly fine. Everyone's like, okay, we'll move on. Our alliance won. Bygones be bygone. And then Mar comes into Discord. And he's like, WTF am I even reading here? I'm like, oh, everyone's ready to end the game. Like, I'm a bully. Like, I'm bullying some poor victim. Hey, look, here's my back. It still has a knife lodged in it. I'm like, you win. Congrats. Like, dude, you're second. I think I'll wait until Waven says something. I'm like, oh, well, from what JSC said, I thought everyone was ready to end the game, declaring you winner. You want more than that? Like, what, a t-shirt? Like, so I can be an asshole. Like, this guy's, like, trying to, like, make me look like a nice guy. Like, dude, you won. Like, just, you won. Good job. And he's like, no. So he's like, there's no rush. And anyway, they said, oh, wait, I must have given you the impression here I want to talk to you. So my response. So everyone goes and becomes allies again. JSE, through Herculean efforts, gets everyone on board. Everyone except for Mar. And they said, we're not attacking anyone else. Except then, but then Mar kept attacking. Waven came on board. He agreed, and then this came out. This is to the spectators. Is like, so this is Mar. Okay, a few things. First, I do not care about wins. As a funny way to prove that, I'm going to have Necro take first place. Second, my main motivation is punishing that betrayal. There are two ways out. The long, hard way, I fight you and eradicate you all. Necro takes first place. 2, Gray and Julie hit concede defeat button. The game ends that tick. Now, the concede defeat button is this one right here versus ready to quit. I already said ready to quit, and then it just ends the game. He wants me to hit this button. I don't get why. Like, hitting ready to quit basically concedes defeat. I don't get what game he's playing. We'll just get up to current here. But basically, he continued to attack. JSC finally laid down the ultimatum, and everybody agreed. And I mean everybody. That we're just going to attack Mar. Now, it was also made public to me that Sweeper and Ronin and Necra and Limiting Factor, they've all been giving Mar all their tokens. And like when Julie and I were attacking his world builders, he went through like 60 tokens. So, you know, all those people are basically just trying to make sure I don't win and this new guy wins. And that's fine. He won, but then he wouldn't click the button and he wants to rub our noses in it. There's a saying, like, you should be gracious in defeat, humble in victory. And I'll admit I'm not always the best either, but he pissed everybody off. So now we have a winner contingency, and it is, oh yeah, this is what he wrote. Yeah, this is what he wrote to JC's like, you've already won. The longer you prolong this, the attack alliance members, the more you wear thin the patience of everyone else. He's like, I don't care. So we unchecked the request to quit, and we're gonna attack him now. Now with Waven not attacking me, and like with no one else attacking me, honestly, I'm pretty good just to take him on. But between me and Waven and Maps and Musician and JSE, I think it's gonna be over. Now, if for whatever reason this doesn't go our way and we think he's going to win, I am willing to, and I told this to Waven, put a carrier on every one of my stars. I'm at 131. He's at about 100. Between the two of us, we'll have the required 212 stars. In one turn, I can abandon every star. I'll be at 0. I do not care. as long as Mar doesn't win. I just feel like it would be such a glorious where he thinks he's rubbing our nose in it, and then poof, it's over and Waven won. It'd be even better if that didn't have to be the case, but I am prepared to throw this game completely away just to prove a point. And I said to Waven, like, it should be you and not me, because I don't want people to think, him in particular, that this is just another ploy to win. So Mike, I will give you my star. So he's going to, next when we get money, he's going to get a carrier on all my stars, so I can, if needed, pull that emergency lever. So that's the plan. Now we're in planning mode. Cycle 15, it's the world against Mar, and he was doing well fighting Bad Musician and I when we were also getting attacked by everyone else. We'll see how he does when he's the one getting attacked by everyone. I think it'll be a different experience for him. Well, and just like that, the game is over. Congratulations, Mar. A lot of contention there. Mar, after threatening to have Necra come back from 1 star to win the game, thought better of it and realized that he was pissing off everybody finally, and just hit request to quit, and then we all did. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed because it would have been fun taking him down. But he did a lot of things really well. He got the vassals for the ton of tokens. He was online. He was active. Not a team player, and combative when confronted about it. But that being said, he won. I'm shocked I got second. It's probably as good as I could have done after I attacked. I think if I think back on what would have been a better move for me is when I realized Mar was being greedy and wasn't being a team player, I should have let it play out. JSE told me to let it play out. I should have let it play out, because had I done that, it wouldn't have triggered the end game. He may have been a couple of stars ahead of me, and we could have then confronted his issue with stealing stars and all that and dealt with it that way. I let the emotions get the best of me and just attacked. Also, I was talking with a Bad Musician in Discord, and her frustration, and I felt like I needed to take action to show that I was being supportive of her, because I felt like she kept bringing up the issues and no one in the Alliance was doing anything about it, and I didn't want her to feel like she was being taken advantage of and nobody gave a crap. So that was the other reason that I did take action when I think it hurt me. But again, the main thing is Mar, Grey Mason, Waven, Crude, Bad Musician, Maps, Frida, JSA, Scampade are the 9 players in the Alliance. We swept. There was a lot of contention at the end. It got a little crazy, a little heated, but our Alliance won. Mar got the victory, and could have gone to Mar or me or Waven at various points in the game. A lot of respect for Waven, even though he stabbed me, and he may have stabbed me again. Maps, super respect Maps play and stick into it, and Frida, Lanyon, just in chill mode, helping out the whole time, and JSE for his diplomacy. Well done. So that wraps up the 32-player Ultra Dark Mode game of Darri. We win. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, click on the link for the next episode, and don't forget to click subscribe for more content.